she had to take that for 14 days, so she had a hard time breathing, and she was having a hard time talking on the phone, so she said just keep praying for her, and, you know,
All right, we'll
she
have
was
to.
feeling some better, but, you know, just had a hard time talking on the phone.
Yeah. We're sending her a card. She's always sending us a
But
card.
her heart's back in rhythm like it should be, but she's got pneumonia now.
All right, and Mindy Hooten and her family, that's Donna's daughter. And he's been in the hospital and got out and had changes now.
Yep.
Sandy Jones got sick again today. Right?
Yep.
Doris Arthur, Arthur, is a friend of mine in Cornersville. Danny Wilson is a neighbor of mine. McLean Richardson's my grandson. Jenny Hinton.
Yep.
And here's one, they're not in our class, but I asked Terry about it. I need to ask the pastor. Randy and Teresa Sutherland. Has anybody heard from them?
No, and haven't heard him mention them lately either.
I send them a card at least every month, but I never heard no response. So we thought they said something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Rick Ballou,
Bill, he's the pastor down at Richmond.
Bill Yu, yeah, Pastor knows him. Rupert Cole,
Commodore, Rupert Commodore, he's friends with Darlene and I.
Okay. Patty Field,
That's the little lady that's got 2 years old that's got leukemia.
did you have somebody you want to keep it again?
Money Upton.
Is that the family, the one that died?
No, that was the Jones family.
Okay. What about your daughter? How's she doing?
She's doing pretty good. It's just, you can just keep praying for her. It's just a day by day thing with her, but she's doing pretty good.
Okay. Good.
All right, any other?
All right. Okay, so today is going to be tongue twister for me, and let me see how many names I can mispronounce. Because there are going to be a lot of them, and I'll probably pronounce the same name 2 different ways before I'm done. So they're taking a census again, which is, wow, a lot of this is going to be you all listening to me today. So if you want to say something, by all means, speak up and give me a break from trying to read these names. But let's go ahead and get started. We are in Numbers chapter 26, verse 1. Okay. Then it came about after the plague that the Lord spoke to Moses and said to Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saying, take a census of all the congregation of the sons of Israel from 20 years old and upwards by their fathers' households, whoever is able to go out into war in Israel. Now, I will say it's anyone over, just to clarify this, anyone over 20 years old, but with the caveat, whoever is able to go out to war in Israel. So when we talk about the numbers, we won't talk about them. As I read all these numbers, the point is I just want you to keep in mind that if it's somebody older, they're probably not able to go out to war, so there's some cutoff. I think maybe if you were a little older than Floyd, you get cut off. I'm not sure exactly in there, but I'm just trying to give the fact that at some point there's a cutoff. What is it? I don't know. And I think it's more of how able-bodied you are. I mean, I've seen some 70 and 80-year-olds that are pretty spry, and I've seen others that, can't get around without a walker. So it varies. And I'm just trying to make that point when you think about the numbers and how many people we're talking about. Okay. So Moses and Eleazar the priest spoke with them in the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho, saying, take a census of the people from 20 years old and upward, as the Lord has commanded Moses. Now, the sons of Israel who came out of the land of Egypt were Reuben, Israel's firstborn, the sons of Reuben, of Hanok, the family of the Hanokites of Palu, the family of the Paluites, of Hezron, the family of the Hezronites of Carmi, the family of the Carmites, Those are the families of the Reubenites, and those who were numbered of them were 43,730. The sons of Palu, Eliab, Elib, the sons of Elib, Nemu, Dathan, and Abiram. These are the Dathans and Abrams who were called by the congregation, who contended against Moses, against Aaron, in the company of Korah, when they contended against the Lord. And the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up along with Korah. When the company died, when the fire devoured 250 men, so that they became a warning. The sons of Korah, however, did not die. The sons of Simeon, according to their families, of Nemuel, the family of Numalites, of Jamin, the family of the Jaminites, of Jachin, the family of the Jachinites, and Zerah, the family of the Zerites, of Shaul, the family of the Shalites. These are the families of the Simonites, 22,200. The sons of Gad, according to their families, of Zephon, the family of the Zephonites, of Haggai, the family of the Haggites, of Suni, the family of the Sunites, of Ozni, the family of Oznites, of Eri, the family of the Erites, of Arad, the family of the Aradites, of Ariel, the family of the Arielites. These are the families of the sons of Gad, according to those who were numbered of them, 40,500. The sons of Judah were the Oman, but and Onan died in the land of Canaan. The sons of Judah, according to their families, were of Shelah, the family of the Shelonites, of Perez, the family of the Perizzites, of Zerah, the family of the Zerites. The sons of the Perites were of Hezron, the family of the Hezronites, of Hamul, the family of the Hamulites. These are the families of Judah, according to those who were numbered of them, 76,500. Now, I'm going to pause for one reason, so I can stop butchering names and being tongue-tied for a minute. And next, to point out how this seems and sounds a little bit different from the last time around, because the last time we were counting, you start out talking about the 12 tribes, basically, and then go by the tribe names. I don't understand, and this is just me, but how all of a sudden you have all these new family names. Is it just because everybody's going by the first name and you're part of that family? Or I don't know. I didn't take a lot of time to figure that out because it's a curiosity of mine, but not enough that I felt like really answering the question and doing a deep dive, trying to figure out how they do names. Because, again, from our standpoint, we look at a surname when we count family, right? So if I'm a Hopkins, I'm still a Hopkins, unless it's a daughter and the daughter marries somebody else, and then they change. My wife is now a Hopkins. She was an Urback. So I can see those changes, but I don't really understand how we get all these new names unless they're using maybe first names or I don't know. Just a curiosity and something I just wanted to say. It's not lost on me that this has changed. It's just I didn't feel it was important enough to worry about. I mean, this is what the Bible says their names are. This is what they are. I'm not going to argue it. But anyway, just kind of a point of interest, and let me have a break there on my tongue. Okay. The sons of, now it bugs me. Issachar is Issachar. Anyway, Issachar, according to their families of Tola and the family of the Tolavites, of Puvah and the family of Punites, of Jashub, the family of the Jashubites, of Shimron, the family of the Shimronites. These are the families of Issachar, according to those who were numbered of them, 64,300. And again, notice we're always on ending in zero. There's never one off. I don't know how you do that. Did they say, well, hey, actually, We just want it within 100. You know, that's all we're looking for in the count. I don't know. It's a mathematical statistic that I know is an impossibility. There's no way, unless God wanted it that way. There's no way. So, again, to me, it's an oddity, and I got to point it out because that's what I do up here. Okay. The sons of Zebulun, according to their families, of Sered, the family of the Seredites, of Elon, the family of the Elonites, of Jaleel, the family of the Jaelites. These are the families of the Zebulites, according to them, according to those who were numbered of them, 60,500. So see, just so you know, Elon's in the Bible, so it's not an oddball name. I had to throw that out there in case somebody missed it. We got Elon, okay? At least his parents went with a biblical name. I won't say much else about the man in his personal life, but nonetheless, point of interest there. The sons of Joseph, according to their families, Manasseh and Ephraim, the family of the Macharites, and Machir became the father of Gilead, the family of the Gileadites. Sorry, I know I'm missing a page here. Okay. Then the sons of Gilead of Izar, the family of the Izarites, of Helek, the family of the Helekites, and of Azriel, the family of the Azrielites, and of Shechem, the family of the Shechemites, and of Shemada, the family of the Shemadites, and of Hepher, the family of the Hepherites. Now, Zelophehad, the son of Hephner, had no sons, but only daughters. And the names of the daughters of Zelophehad were Malal, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah.
Was daughter's name?
Yeah, daughter's Noah. Go figure. I thought it was a one-gender name. I'm wrong. Notice this is the first time you've had them come back with the women. So, point of interest. I'd address it now, but we're going to address it a little later because it's going to come up. These are the families of Manasseh, and those who were numbered of them were 52,700. These are the sons of Ephraim according to their families. Zethalah, the family of Zethlonites, of Bechar, the family of Becharites, of Tahan, the family of the Tahanites. These are the sons of Zethalah, of Aran, the family of the Aaronites. These are the families of the sons of Ephraim, according to those who were numbered of them, 32,500. These are the sons of Joseph, according to their families. The sons of Benjamin, according to their families, of Bela, the family of the Belites, of Ashbel, the family of the Ashbelites, of Aram, the family of the Aramites, of Sephulam, the family of the Sephulamites, of Hupam, the family of the Hupamites, the sons of Bela and Ard, and Naaman of Ard, and the families of the Ardites, of Naaman, and the family of the Naamites. These are the sons of Benjamin according to their families, and those who were numbered of them were 45,600. Again, to give my tongue a break here, keep in mind, as you're adding these numbers up in your head, this doesn't include the kids. Now, some of these numbers sound a little low, but think about how many people God's killed off from the Israelite tribe. How many died from the snake bites because they weren't listening to God? How many thousands were swallowed up when the earth swallowed them up because they were opposing God? And every time they did that, we're talking about like 20,000, okay? If you remember, when they talked about this, one of them was 24,000 people at one time. They were against God. They were just, So when you start thinking about those numbers, even if you think of, the 24,000, good grief, that's half of one of these families, right? So percentage-wise, there are a lot of people who've gotten wiped out because they refused to obey God. So I'm just trying to make the point here that these numbers have been, if you're comparing them to the original numbers, these are different because of how many people, or lower than what you might think because of how many people God killed. The other thing is, what did God say he was going to do with the people as far as the promised land? They weren't going to get in the promised land until every last one of the people that had been gone against him, everybody that complained and whined about being fed by God, being protected by God, being his people, they were all going to die before they got into the promised land. And as we're getting closer to the promised land, obviously we're counting again to have an army to go into the promised land at some point in the near future. So you have to look at the fact that that this doesn't include the kids. And at this point, I would expect you have a lot of kids. We're not talking about having birth control here. Let's just be really honest. Reality is, if you've got, let's go with one of these last numbers, the 45,600. Round off, let's do easy math, say it's 50,000. So, okay, 50,000 men, okay? Well, first off, you can double the number for the population because they're pretty much all going to be married if they're fighting age. I mean, you're 20 and older. Israel, you're most likely married. So you already have 100,000 instead of 50,000. Then go in and go, okay, well, there's no birth control. If you just average these and say these people are between 20 and 60, okay? So how many kids do you think they'd have over that time? Let's say 10, okay? Big families. I mean, think back to your grandparents. Mine had 10 plus. For the most, not all of them, but a lot of them. And so when you start doing that math and say, okay, well, let's say 10, they probably had 15 kids, but 10 lived. You know how that was. So if you do 10, good grief, 10 times 50,000. Okay, that's how many you have in kids. Okay, so now you've got 500,000 just because of the kids, and then you still get the 50,000 you're adding for the wives. So you got a lot of people. So when these numbers kind of sound low versus we've been talking about they've got to have millions of people that are marching as part of the nation of Israel. Oh, they did. But you got to do the math to work it out. Because otherwise, this sounds really weird. Because you see these numbers and think, well, 50,000, I thought they got a lot more in that family. I mean, it's one of the 12 tribes. You got 50,000. That's nothing. Yes, but when you add in 10 kids and the wife, you're taking that 50,000 and timesing it by, 11? Based on our simple math? And seems about right to me. I mean, do you all think I'm wrong on that? I mean, I'm just doing logic here. I'm not saying that's positively what the numbers were. I'm just kind of giving round estimates of what I believe reality was. So anyway, I just thought it was relevant to point that out because when I first read these numbers, I was like, well, this seems really low with what we thought. And then I started thinking about all the people that were killed off by God, plus the fact that all the original, let's say it was 1 million people originally, God waited for them to die out there first. So when you do the math on that, you got all those people dead, plus the ones that were of the new generation that got killed for disobeying God. Yeah, the numbers are a little low, except when you add in all the kids, and now it's not so low anymore. So even from a distance, if you think about it, because they're counting up to 20, so you got probably, ballparking it as half of them are between 10 or 11 and 19. Again, basic math. So if you do that, you figure, you look at an army coming towards you, I can see that seeming huge, because that's a lot of people that, you know, they're not being carried, they're not on a cart, you know, being hauled by whatever, ox or whatever, with the kid cart. They're actually out there walking and doing stuff. That's a lot of people. That would seem like an invading army. Whether you were intending to look like it or not, there's no way you're going to avoid it. Okay, so we'll continue on. These are the sons of Dan, according to their families, of Shuham, the family of the Shuhamites. These are the families of Dan, according to their families. All the families of the Shuhamites, according to those who were numbered of them, were 64,400. The sons of Asher, according to their families, of Imnan, the family of Imanites, of Ishiv, the family of the Ishivites, of Barai, the family of the Beralites, of the sons of Barah, of Heber, the family of the Heberites, of Malachim, the family of the Malachites. The name of the daughter of Asher was Sarah. These are the families of the sons of Asher according to those who were numbered of them, 53,400. Notice you got another female actually getting named. Daughter of Asher was Sarah. The sons of Naphtali, according to the families of Jezeel, the family of the Jelizites, of Guni, the family of the Gunites, of Jazer, the family of the Jezerites, of Shalem, the family of the Shelemites. These are the families of Naphtali, according to their families, and those who were numbered with them were 45,400. These are those who were numbered of the sons of Israel, 601,730. Yeah. So again, take that total number. Just by having them have wives, you're at 1.2 million. Add in the 10 kids. Whoo! Now you're talking about a really big number. Now we're back to so when you take this in context, you go from that 600,000 to, now I see how they're millions. And we're not including the ones who are old enough not to fight. So how many are in that crowd out of each of these groups? And did they still have wives alive? Possibly. So you can double whatever that number is just for that. Just an interesting perspective. And again, I'm just trying to reinforce it because in the last couple weeks, we've been talking about seeing this army, talking about Balaam and Balak taking in these different hills, and all you can see of them is the tail end right here. And this is just them coming towards us, and why you couldn't see them all at once, and you're thinking, well, 600,000 means a lot of people, but it's not that many. Add the wives in, add the kids in, add the elderly in. Oh, you got millions, just like we've been talking about. But when I first saw them, I'm like, 600,000. Okay, no, you're going to do the real math here. Figure out kind of how many people you might be talking about. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, among these the land shall be divided for an inheritance according to the number of names. To the larger group you shall increase their inheritance, and to the smaller group you shall diminish their inheritance. Each shall be given their inheritance according to those who were numbered of them. Now, this is one thing I really like, again, with Yahweh. He ends up making it fair. He doesn't divide it out by family, right? He divides it out by the size. What are your needs going to be? It's a whole lot more fair, right? I mean, to me, that's really important because that's something I really like with Yahweh is he's fair, he's just, he's honorable. I mean, that's something you don't get in this world. I mean, it's very, very different. And in this case, to see that it's going to be according, and again, I should put this in there too. So think about it this way, the families that opposed God and had, say, 24,000 people taking from them, they're not going to get as much. But the people that survived, that were following Yahweh, they are going to get just as much basically as everybody else. It's going to be fair. It's not a person to person, still going to families, but it's divided according to their number. So again, really think that was a good way. The land shall be divided by lot. They shall receive their inheritance according to the names of the tribes of their fathers. According to the selection by lot, their inheritance shall be divided between the larger and the smaller groups. These are those who were numbered of the Levites according to their families: of Gershon, the family of the Gershonites; of Kohath, the family of the Kohathites; of Merari, the family of the Merarites. These are the families of Levi, the families of the Libnites, the family of the Hebronites, the family of the Melites, the family of the Cushites, the family of the Korites. Kohath became the father of Amram. The name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, the daughter of Levi, who was born to Levi in Egypt, and she bore to Amram Aaron and Moses and their sister Miriam. To Aaron were born Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. But Nadab and Abihu died before they offered, when they offered strange fire before the Lord. Those who were numbered of them were 23,000, every male from a month old and upwards. They were not numbered because among the sons of Israel, since no inheritance was given to them among the sons of Israel. So if you're a kid, yeah, okay, you're not counted, but you are, because keep in mind, where do you get your inheritance? You get your inheritance from your parents, right? I mean, that's how it works. And there have been times in history where only the firstborn male got anything. In fact, everything went to them. Now, do you know why that was? Point of interest, but it's relevant. If you wanted to keep power within your family, you give it to one person. If you want to divide everything up and have everybody go their separate ways, give some to everybody. But in a lot of history, people that were wealthy, they want to retain power, right? Think about all the kings and all of the kings and queens that you can think of out in the world, and even in the last 100 to 200 years. Go with the easy route, although this has been going on forever. What happens? Well, first off, they make sure that whoever's going to succeed them gets everything. Why? Because you keep the power in a small group. Secondly, what do? The daughter's got to be married off to somebody that's got money. Why? So you can keep power and keep a treaty. How did Solomon manage to keep peace in the world in his day? By having buku wives. Dumb idea. You might be keeping peace abroad. I don't know how you kept peace in the house, but you kept peace abroad. I'll grant you that. Throw in some concubines and, that's how it was, right? I can't imagine living like that, but I'm just saying that's what people have done to maintain power, and I think it's relevant that we all understand that, because that's what man does. But God makes it fair. And that's what I'm trying to get to, and that's where I'm trying to show the difference between what God does and what we do today. I mean, or what we've done in the past, what the elites have done, I should say, in the past. I don't know about you all, but I don't have enough to give away to make either of my kids go, I'm the ruler of 2200 Fowler Hollow. That's about it. That's all there would be. As it is, maybe it gets divided up, maybe it doesn't. That's between my kids, because they'll both get, things split up, unless one of them really upsets me. So, we want to make sure that doesn't happen. But but it's a simple point that today we divide things out, and historically that didn't always happen. So let's continue on here. I think we were picking up, 57? I'm sorry, I talked too long and looked away too long. All right, picking up in 57? 63, sorry, okay. Sorry, I told you I looked up for too long. It's my fault. Okay, 63 you say? Okay, there we go. These are those who were numbered by Moses and Eleazar the priest, who numbered the sons of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho. But among these, there was not a man of those who were numbered by Moses and Aaron the priest, who numbered the sons of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. As for the Lord has said of them, they shall surely die in the wilderness, and not a man was left of them, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. So again, this gets back to that whole point. All the old people, all the people that were brought out of Egypt, save those specific people, were dead and gone. Everybody's been replaced because of all the things that nation of Israel did against the Lord. Then the daughter of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, came near, and these are the names of his daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, and Milcah, and Tirzah. They stood before Moses and before Eleazar the priest, and before the leaders of the congregation at the doorway of the tent of meeting, saying, "Our father died in the wilderness, yet he was not among the company of those who gathered themselves against the Lord in the company of Korah, but he died in his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should the name of our father be withdrawn from among his family, because he had no son? Give us a possession among our father's brothers." So Moses brought their case before the Lord. Now, this is where, again, I see the difference between man and God. God listens when you speak up. Man, a lot of times, is like, this is the way things are. You need to get over it. So think about it. This guy died because, again, he was one of the originals coming out of Egypt. And he had daughters instead of sons. And there's nothing wrong with that. But they hadn't had sons to bring up that were in the count yet, that were 20 years or older. Therefore, what? They were going to get nothing? That didn't sound right. Just because they were women? I mean, my last neighbor where we last lived, this guy's was ex-military, special forces. What does he have? 2 daughters. You know? I moved in, he was like, "So do you hunt?" Like, "No, I shoot. I target shoot a lot. I've just never had a position to hunt." "Would you like to learn?" Yeah. Immediately, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to deer hunt. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to field dress a deer. I don't know how to process. I don't know any of that. Happy man all of a sudden. He had somebody to show these things to. But my point is, it shouldn't make somebody any less just because they're female, and it didn't. Well, at least that's what they believe, so let's see what happens here. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "The daughters of Zelophehad are right in their statements. You shall surely give them a hereditary possession among their father's brothers, and you shall transfer the inheritance of their father to them. Further, you shall speak to the sons of Israel, saying, if a man dies and has no son, then you shall transfer his inheritance to his daughter. If he has no daughter, then you shall give the inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to the father's brothers. If his father has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to his nearest relative in his own family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be a statutory ordinance to the sons of Israel, just as the Lord commanded Moses." So Yahweh's being really fair with us and going, yeah, you're right. You know, they have a valid point. So you need to make sure they're given something. And this is going to be an ongoing statute so that someone possesses this. What happens today if somebody dies and they don't have a relative? Government takes it. The government goes, sweet, payday, jackpot, I win. That's what happens. The government just takes it. Why? Who keeps all the records? The government. The government goes, yeah, I can't find his name anywhere. That must be our property. I can't find any relatives, so done. But here, if you were going to go to the state at this point, what would that be? The equivalent. Be to the Levites, right? Because the Levites were they were the priests. They were, if you will, the government because they talked to God. God gave the rules, right? So if anybody's the government, it would be the Levites. But they're not given the land. The Levites inherit no land. The government, basically, they're provided for through all of the sacrifices, and that's how they get their food. So the reality is, that's the right way to do things. God gives us the good examples. We just don't follow them in this world, but God gives us the good examples. I'm just trying to make a point of that because, again, I always like to give you all how it was and how it is. Yeah, it is how I think. That's why I became a politician, because I don't like the way people think. It goes against God too often, in my opinion. Then the Lord said to Moses, go up on the mountain of Abiram and see the land which I have given to the sons of Israel. When you see it, you will be gathered to your people as Aaron, your brother, was. For in the wilderness of Zin, during the strife of the congregation, you rebelled against my command to treat me as holy before their eyes at the waters. These are the waters of Meribah of Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. So, first off, let me back up here. So, first, in verse 13, when you see it, you too will be gathered to your people as Aaron, your brother, was. So what did he just tell him? Oh, you're going to see the promised land as soon as you see it, you're going to die just like your brother did. This is it for you. This is the end of your time. So you're going to get to see it, but that's it. Be kind of one of those, thanks for the heads up, but just like that? Yeah. Yeah, just like that. You know? So yeah, I think it's fitting. I mean, and then he explains why, which I don't think God had to tell him or remind him, but I think it was kind of cool he did. So if you all don't remember, in the wilderness of Zin, during the strife of the congregation, he did rebel. He went out, he was told to speak to the rock, and water would come forth. Instead, first off, he struck the rock twice to get water to come out. Secondly, not only that, but he came out and said, oh, do you want Aaron and me to make the water for you? Basically, that was his attitude. He didn't come out and say, would you like God to make the water? Would you like Yahweh to make the water appear from the rock? No. He disrespected God. That was going too far. And he did it in front of the people. Now I think Yahweh gave Moses an extreme amount of wiggle room with being respectful to him when they were talking to each other and when they were alone. But Moses did this in front of the people. And therefore Moses had to have a punishment. And that's not getting into the promised land. And that's what he's reminding. He's like, it's one thing when if you want to, be my friend and over here, that's fine. But, as a politician, I could relate it to saying, here, you call me commissioner. Over there, yeah, you can call me Matthew. But you don't do it out in the public. And that's basically what it was. Is you want to talk to me over there, you ask me to walk over there and we can talk. And you can vent and whatever. But over here, in front of the people, you don't do that. Which sometimes to me is a really weird thing, because sometimes I do get emails from people that address me and they're all fancy and it's always Commissioner Hopkins and this. And I'm like, what? This just seems weird to me. I don't get that. But either way, I do understand if you want to keep respect to the people, you have to be respectful of your job. And in this case, his job was to do God's will. And in this one time, he didn't do it and he got in trouble for it. And that's really what it comes down to. Sorry, I need to check on how I'm doing on time here because I know I'm getting close. Okay. Because we're at a good stopping point, I'm going to go ahead and stop here before we start and end midway through another story. So we're going to stop at chapter 27, verse 15. Hope that works for you guys. I'm a minute early, but I think we'll live. I try to use all my time because I enjoy this. I really do, but it's a good spot to stop. All right, let's go ahead and close in prayer and we'll be dismissed. Let me stop this recording. I'm trying yet again. My last